Organization is zero. Zero this week. I'm filming on the day that I'm supposed to be posting the video. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I actually manage. If not, I'll post it tomorrow. Oh well. Hi, beautiful people. I hope everyone is happy and everyone is well. As someone who has literally just finished high school, well, not literally, it's been a few months, but the point is, I'm still a bit fresh off the boat. You know what I'm saying? I asked ChatGPT for a few pieces of advice on how to maintain a good mental health throughout high school. As expected, it gave me this long list of a few things that are supposed to work. You know, you'll get your 7 hours of sleep, stay organized, all that very important stuff. But as someone who's been through it and tried to do all those things, I decided to select a few key things that I genuinely think will actually help if you apply them. Some of which I was not able to try myself because, you know, when you're in high school, you don't think that certain things will actually help you, and then after you've already finished, you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, wait, I should have done that. Yeah, some of them are those things. So I've selected 16 key things that I think are genuinely very useful if you're able to apply them, and I put them in 5 key rules, kind of like umbrellas. These will not only help build good mental health, but hopefully maintain it for the rest of your high school period. As much as I've tried to make these applicable to everyone in high school, ranging from whether you're starting high school to you're finishing, I hope that you agree. I hope you find it useful. If you do actually try these things, do let me know. Tell me if they worked or if the internet is just more lies. To start off, I'm not even gonna pretend that my mental health was thriving when I was in high school. I know I'm saying that like it's a long time ago. It's not. It's been June, July, August, September, 5 months back then. Anyway, my mental health was not good back then, and frankly, I don't know anyone who was. None of my friends were thriving. None of my mentors were thriving. I think high school is just, especially the last 2 years, it's supposed to build your character. It's supposed to mold you. It's supposed to make you hardy. But yeah, since it hasn't been that long, looking back, I've decided, you know, maybe there's a way I can make this a bit easier for a few people. I'm looking here because this is where my laptop is, and I have put my notes right here. Okay, so the first big thing, the big rule, is to make time for you. I'm starting with that one and not starting with schoolwork, because how are you supposed to do your schoolwork if you're not even doing you properly? Make time for you. That is the first umbrella. Now, the first kind of rule. If you have control over your schedule, literally schedule rest into your schedule. Put rest in the timetable. Put it there. Because if you're someone that likes to follow your rules, follow your timetable, your schedule the way it's been set, it will be so helpful for you to look at your timetable, be like, oh my gosh, it's time for me to chill. Let me chill, you know? If you don't schedule in this, then what you're going to do is every time you're tired and you want to take a break, you're going to feel guilty about it. Because your timetable is packed to the brim from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. full of work, full of study, full of revision. And then when it's time for you to like pause a little bit, you're not going to want to because you feel bad for doing it. That is not good. That's not good for you. So the first thing is to schedule rest into your timetable, into your routine. That is if you have control over your timetable. Now I know, at least where I went to school, so the first 3 years of high school, you don't have control over what you spend your time doing until, you know, the end of the school day. In that case, at least at the end of the school day, where you do have time to decide what you want to do, take some time to be on your own. To chill for yourself. Time that's not bedtime, first of all, because bedtime and chill time, those are not the same thing. Those are not the same thing. Don't let anyone tell you that they are. Bedtime and chill time are 2 separate entities. Okay? So schedule rest time for yourself because you need it. I know you do. I needed it. Did I do it? No, I didn't. The next one is quite similar. First one I said schedule rest into your timetable. The second one is schedule downtime into your timetable. What I mean by downtime versus rest, downtime is time to kind of just like 5 minutes. 5 minutes in your study to just stop studying, think about anything else, daydream for 5 minutes, go for like a walk, go get water, go have a quick conversation with someone, schedule it into your study periods. You need to learn how to carve out short breaks for yourself. As much as it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal, you know, especially when you're on a roll, when you're studying and it's going really well and you're like, gosh, I have an hour and this is 30 minutes in and we are zooming, we're doing so well. It doesn't feel great to have to stop, but you will feel better at the end of that hour if you stop for 5 minutes to just breathe, take some tea or coffee or water or juice or not alcohol. You feel so much better at the end than you did at the beginning, and then you would have if you didn't take that 5 minutes to just, you know. If it's in class, I don't think anyone is having classes for over an hour. Classes are supposed to be 55 minutes to allow you at least 5 minutes to get to your next class. Those 5 minutes, don't be thinking about work, don't be thinking about the things that you haven't done, the homework that you haven't done, the work that you need to get done. Don't be thinking about that. As you're walking from class A to class B, look at the birds, look at the flowers, talk to your friends, don't talk about work. Because if you're going from work to work, what's the point in using your rest time to talk about work? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the third thing, now this one, I know you've heard it, I know you've been told, and I know you probably haven't listened, because I did listen sometimes I didn't listen, sometimes I was like, you're being silly. Stay active. I know you know this is like me telling you to get enough hours of sleep. I know, but the fact that I'm telling you and I know that you've been told, I think it means something. I'm telling you, I was told, the people before me were told, stay active. When you're active, and I don't mean actively working, I don't mean active study, active revision, I mean go for a walk with your friends, by yourself, go throw a ball and catch it on your own, go jump rope. Stay active, because doing that gives your brain some time to focus on something else. As much as you're in school to study, and I know that is probably what you're being told by your parents, stay active. Your brain needs some time to focus on something else that is not letters or numbers. You know what I'm saying? So for the sporty people around, go do your sport, do it as well as you can. I made a massive mistake in cancelling out competitive sport from my kind of routine. I really enjoyed being on like sports squads and on teams and going on tour and like participating in tournaments for all sorts of sports, and that was really bad. But then on the bright side, that's also when I started going to the gym and doing sport or activity for myself rather than for a school team or a sports squad. You know, so sporty people, please don't let someone take away your sport. I'm telling you, as someone who had her sport taken away, don't let people take away your sport. You need it. I'm telling you. Obviously, you need to come up with a way that allows you to have a balance, but balance. Don't throw it away entirely. That was the first umbrella. The reason I named it Make Time For You is because whether it's in your first few years or your last few, time seems like it is becoming less and less and less and less, and you have more things on your plate, you have more things you need to do, and finding time is completely impossible. There was a period I used to literally pray that God just makes the days a bit longer. And I'm so serious, because the 24 hours don't seem enough, but they have to be enough, which is why you have to make time for yourself, because otherwise you will not have any time for yourself, and that will just lead to burnout and unhappiness and terrible mental health. I should know. The second one, you need to allow yourself a social life. Allow it, because I know, especially for the studious ones of us here, it's very easy to tell yourself, look, I don't have time for friends, I don't have time for going on walks, I don't have time to do things that are not related to my studies. Yeah, that's true, you don't, but you're gonna have to make that time, because if you don't make that time, that is not going to be good for you. You're not going to be happy, you're not going to do well emotionally, mentally, physically. You need to make time for your friends, because otherwise, if you don't make that time and you would still like to keep your friends, you still like to have that social life, then it's going to eat into your study time. Which is why a lot of these things, they require you to actively decide when you're going to be doing what, right? It's not as easy anymore to just kind of like go with the flow, see how the day takes you. It's not that easy anymore. So you have to make time for your friends. You have to allow yourself a social life. Under that, we have the first thing, connect with others. You know that feeling when like you're talking to someone and they're telling you how, oh, they haven't done this work and you haven't done it, and then it's like, oh my gosh, relief, even though you're both gonna be in trouble. Or that thing of, you know, you're struggling with something in class and somebody else is, and they say something about it and you're like, oh my gosh, same. That connection that you have with those people, it makes such a difference. Don't think that you can tough it out on your own. I think it's so much better to go through the mud with people than it is to go through the mud by yourself. Trying to do it by yourself, why should you do that? Why? When you can do it with other people that will understand what you're going through. So connect with others. It'll really help you feel better about yourself and about the people that you have around you. The second thing, participate in school activities where you can, because that'll allow you to have a sense of kind of belonging and a sense of community with the people around you. Going through tough academic periods, it can feel very lonely. You can feel very alone, and like, you know, everyone is doing the same thing, but you will feel like you're the only one going through the mud like that. Don't do that to yourself. If you can, which you can, participate in school activities. They don't have to be competitive, they don't have to be so rigorous and tasking. Literally, if you have like a cute little arts and crafts thing, go and draw even though you're not an artist. If you can crochet with your friends even though you're not making. Crochet a line of like a chain, a single chain. These two things will help you eliminate or kind of dilute the sense of isolation and loneliness, which really just clogs up your upstairs. As much as you probably don't see it when it's happening, you're just sad all the time and you feel like you can't connect with people anymore. It's because you're not trying to. And I'm just gonna tell you, you have to try. I'm sorry. You gotta try. You gotta try it. Number 3, the third umbrella is to give yourself a break. You are not Superwoman, you're not Superman, you're not a super human being. Give yourself a break. It's okay. Okay? You're one person in 24 hours of a day, 12 of which you should not be working. Yeah, I said 12. I said 12, not 7. Because to me, the 7 hours is for sleep. There needs to be more hours of you not grinding. Give yourself a break. Learn to say no. Now, my friends will know that I'm being a hypocrite now, because to this day I have not learned to say no, but I'm working on it. I am. My mom made me do this thing where every time I say no, I get a reward. If you need to do the same, do it. It's okay to say, look, I would love to help, but I'm afraid I can't. Okay? I don't have time. I have to do this, I have to do that. You don't have to explain yourself. It is okay to say no. And the people that refuse to understand that is their bad. It is not yours to carry on yourself. Okay? Learn to say no. It's fine. It's fine. I know it doesn't feel like it is, but it's okay. I promise, they're not gonna die. They won't die because you said no. And look, unless you're being homeschooled and you're all by yourself, then there's literally so many other people that can be asked. There's so many other people that can do that thing that you're being asked to do. So say no. It's okay. You need to prioritize your well-being. And if that means you have to say no to certain things, say no. You know, it's so funny how it's such an easy word to say. I feel like anyone, even if you're not an English speaker, can say the letters N-O together. No. It's like, it's like, yeah. no. Learn to say no. It's hard, but it's very much worth it. And I know that especially if you're in a position where you feel like you have to say yes, where's your thing to say yes, whether it's that you're a school prefect, a captain, a mentor, a leader of any sort, and you feel like you have to say yes, you have to agree, you have to be that person that's able to do everything. You don't. I promise you, you do not. You don't. Learn to say no. I don't know high schools that have less than 200 people. There's at least 199 other people that can say yes, that can be asked. Learn to say no. I've said it so many times. Learn to say no. Second thing under give yourself a break is to reflect and adjust on a regular basis. One of those resting or chill times that you have scheduled, not in your sleeping time. You need to check on yourself. You need to see, are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling just more tired than you feel like you should? And if you are feeling all those things, it's probably time that you reassess your commitments. If you're in your later years, half of those are academically related. So I'm afraid those ones I'm probably gonna have to stay as they are. But the others are probably things that you have put yourself up to do because you know that you can. You know that you're physically capable of doing them, but you don't have the time. You don't have the time anymore, which is okay. So you need to reassess. It's okay. You know, you sign up for something at the beginning of the year and you think you have to go through with it to the end of the year. As nice as commitment is, if it is impacting you as a person, you have to know where to just put the cap on. You have to know where to be like, I'm so sorry, but you're going to have to find someone else to do it. Because let me tell you something, as good as you were for the job, you're probably not anymore. Sorry, but it's true. If you had signed up to be a mentor, let's say, and the school I went to, that's not an option. Everyone was a mentor at some point. But if that's something you signed up to be, you had to mentor someone or a few people, or even to tutor, but you're not able to keep up with your studies and that is having an impact on you and your mental health and your well-being, then you're not helping the other person because you're not at your best. You know, you need to provide a service when you feel well and able and capable and strong enough to do it. If you're pouring from the little drips of water you have left, that water is going to get finished, and all you'll be doing is just wasting time, wasting somebody else's time, your own time, and trying to give what you do not have, which is not fair to you or the other person. So you do need to reassess your commitments at some point. And if it means that you have to say no to a few things, say no to a few things. It is okay. The next thing is to seek help when needed. I know that's difficult, especially when you feel like you asking someone for help is then burdening them. But let me tell you, sometimes just because someone came and asked me for help, I felt so much better about myself and my situation, because then I felt like, you know, I'm able to help you and then you're able to help me, because we're both struggling out here. We're both going through a tough time, help each other out. And so you need to speak up when you're not feeling well. And by well, I don't mean you have a stomachache. Of course, do that. Tell someone when you need Panadol for your head or cramps. But when you are mentally struggling, say something. If you are lucky enough to be in a school that has a counselor, therapist, a mental health advisor, go talk to them. Those people, they're so professional, by the way. They really are very professional, and they've literally been trained on how to listen to you talk about your problems, to help you feel a bit better about them, to feel a bit more in control of your situation. So go ask them for help. And if you don't want other people to know, they won't know. A counselor will not tell anyone. I promise. Because why are they telling your friends? Why? And frankly, if your teachers are concerned for you, like if they can tell that something is not going right anymore, they are going to tell the counselor to email you, to tell you to like pop by for a session, you know? So ask for help. I am a very strong believer in strength being shown through weakness. By you asking, by you acknowledging the fact that something is not right, you are a very big step ahead of someone who is refusing to acknowledge that, to recognize that they're not doing very well. And I don't mean academically. Your teachers will recognize that for you. But your well-being, your mental, emotional health, that is up to you to decide that you want to take care of it. And so you need to say something when things are not going right. The next one is very similar. Communicate. It's practically the same. But here, I mean communicate when you are struggling academically, because academic struggles are literally such a heavy burden. I feel like when you're struggling academically, your mental health is also just going down the drain. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse, because you feel like you're not good enough to do well. And then you're not doing well. That's then feeding that feeling, which is not true. So say, you need to be able to tell your teachers when you are not able to get the work done. You need a bit of an extension, you need help, you need assistance, you don't understand the task, blah blah. Say it, and if the teacher refuses to understand it, that is their bad. That is their bad, it's not yours. Because you did your part by saying something. The thing is, when you don't say something, then it's like, oh, the teacher expects that you're able to get the work done on time, in time, to a good standard, to help yourself improve. And so then when you don't do it, then it's like, what's going on here? But if you say something, if you literally make it clear that, look, I'm not doing so well, I need some more time, they will understand. And if they don't understand, that is not your burden to bear. All you need to do is say something. That's your part done. If they refuse to understand, they will refuse to understand, and there's nothing that you can do about that. Now, in relation to work, the fourth umbrella is that you have to remember that you control your work, not the other way around. You have to decide when work stops. You're the one who's doing the work is not doing you. You can't be a prisoner to your academic targets, goals, journey. Don't be. It's not worth it. Being in control of your work. First step, setting realistic goals. I know you've been told to set realistic goals. I know. And if you are an A-star student, your goal is going to be A-star. No. Set a goal that you can achieve without killing yourself. That is realistic. At first, if you're an A-star student, set it for an A. Know that you can get an A. So when you get the A, you're confident and comfortable in yourself. And then you push a bit more. The thing about setting realistic goals is that they're supposed to encourage you. All of your teachers want all of you to get A's and A stars. That is what they want. That's what they're paid for. But all you need to do is your best. And your best is the goal that you set for yourself. Now, I'm not saying set goals below yourself. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying set goals that you know that you can achieve. Okay? And then from there, push a bit more. And a bit more. And a bit more. Like that. That way, you are able to celebrate your accomplishments along the way. You're able to be happy with yourself as you're going, rather than waiting and holding and get to the end, hoping that you achieve that crazy goal that you set so that you can celebrate. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be appreciated and acknowledged and recognized for your efforts, and your efforts will be shown if you achieve the realistic goals that you set for yourself. Period. Now, it's very easy to feel like you're being pushed over by your work, especially in your last few years of high school, in your first year, because you're coming from primary school or like middle school or prep school, and you're feeling like, you know, what you're used to is doable. Then you get here and you have 16 subjects out of the blue, and it's like overwhelming. It's like, where did all this work come from? And then towards the end, you have like 3, 4, 5 subjects, maybe a few extended projects, and you're thinking, these are 3, 4, 5, 6. We're fine. But then each of those projects has so many little bits inside. It's a lot to do regardless. What you need to do is to prioritize tasks. There's 5 days, 5 learning days in a week. I know that unless this is terribly unfair and you are in some camp that doesn't recognize the fact that there's only 24 hours in a day, you won't get all your work due on the same day. You know what you need to do. Use your planner, have a notebook, write it on a whiteboard every morning. Prioritize your tasks. Separate them into bits so that you can get things done one at a time. Don't bring all your books on the table and then start going through them one by one. Because we talked about having downtime and having rest time, and if you do that, you'll have neither of those times. Prioritize your tasks. You know that you need to do that. I'm telling you, please actually try doing it. Use your deadlines to see what you need to do more urgently. Related, limit multitasking. I know you think you can, but stop doing it. Why do you need to multitask when you can do things one at a time? You don't need to get all those things done at the same time. If somebody somewhere expects you to be able to do that, shame on them, because they can't do it either. So why should you be able to as a student? Please. If you focus on one thing at a time, your productivity is so much higher than if you try to do everything at the same time. So you're having a deep conversation with one person. It's one-to-one. You know, we're talking, we are pouring our hearts, we're feeling the feels. If it's with multiple people, it's going to be a little less intimate, naturally. In the same way, you can do things one at a time. Each of those things gets your full attention and your full energy, and so the result will be so much better. And then you will feel better about yourself when you take the work to your teacher and they're like, well done, Kidia, you did so good, rather than, okay, you got it done, but everything's wrong. You know, the last one under taking control of your work. We are in a time and an age where we are going to class with our laptops, with our phones, with our iPads, with our tablets, with our other devices that have access to the internet and apps that can help you with your work. That is what it is. Use your tech wisely. You have access to all these apps that will be so useful to you, that will help you with your organization, with your prioritizing, with your planning, even with your meditation time, your peace time, your you time. Use them. I used them, my friends used them, and it was so fun to use because they'd be like, oh my gosh, how many trees have you planted? Use those because you can now. Back in the day, people couldn't. When I started high school, we could not. You get your katochi, kabambe, brick. I don't know what people call the thing nowadays. Tiny little phone once for like an hour or 2 hours from like 8:30 to 9:30 in the evening, just to call your parents, be like, hi, yeah, I'm still alive. Barely, but you know. Use apps that can help you with your studying. The last umbrella that we have today, ease your days. By that, I mean, these are one of those things that you hear and you think, that's just a waste of time. It's not actually gonna help me, blah, blah, blah. I thought that. Practice gratitude. That is the first thing. Practice gratitude, and I say practice because it's something you actually have to consciously do and consistently. You wake up in the morning, you see the sun. Thank you. Be happy. Acknowledge the fact that you get to do that. You're walking outside, you're hearing the birds chirp, chirp, chirp. Thank you. Acknowledge the fact that life is going on around you so that you are able to appreciate the present and live in the moment as it is. I know life can get so packed up and cramped up with monotony and study and work and deadlines and oh, I have this duties, oh, I have to go for this meeting, oh, I have this commitment that I thought I could handle but now is actually eating me up. You have all those things, yeah, but you also have clouds to look at. You have the wind that can blow in your face. You have things that you can recognize and be grateful for, because if you do that, you're able to break the monotony of your days and you find that your days are a little easier to get through. Doing this will help to shift your focus from stressors to things that bring you joy and fulfillment. As tough as it is, if you're able to find things you're grateful for and write them down, put it in a voice note, put it in a video, and when you look back, you're going to be so happy that you did that because you actually made a conscious effort to be happy and to help yourself out. Which brings us to the second and last point. Practice mindfulness on the go. It would be nice if you can dedicate some time. I used to do it every Tuesday evening with one of my house parents, and he would have a session with this really cool this bowl where we would practice breathing, clearing your mind and focusing on the expansion and contraction of your lungs, the lifting and lowering of your diaphragm, literally focusing on your breathing. Of course, I understand that not everyone has that time, and as much as I've told you to schedule in time, I know that, the day runs out. A lot of my friends prefer to be in bed, getting ready for the next day, getting ready to go to sleep because it was at like 9:30 p.m. Instead, do it on the go. You can literally practice mindfulness as you're walking from one building to the next. Look at your footsteps and focus on each one. Focus. I know it sounds crazy. I know it does. I know. You need to break away from the endless, overwhelming routine of your day and focus on what is happening right now in this very moment. If you can, it gives you a sense of control, because otherwise you're just going. Time is what's moving you. Work is what's moving you. Your teachers are what are moving you. The fact that you have this to do and then that and then that and then that, those are what are moving you. But if you can take time to focus on what is happening right now and nothing else, it is going to make such a difference. And I know it sounds crazy. Try it. Now, I've been very, very anxious about doing a mental health video because I feel like it feels like something that everyone kind of knows because they've been told, but nobody actually wants to do mental health things. But I'm hoping that if you do actually watch this video, if you've gotten to the end, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that it is useful to you, and I hope that you actually apply the things that I've said. The thing is, they're very simple things, but they're not easy to do, and I know that because I tried to do them. Sometimes I managed, I tried, sometimes I failed, sometimes I didn't even try at all. One thing that I always say, and I've always said, you are not living for exams, you're not living for grades. And if you allow your life over the entirety of your high school period to be about exams, to be about work and stress and credits and all those things, then you are going to be so terribly sad and you will have wasted 5 very good years of your life. I'm talking to you guys as someone that not just blabbing for the sake of having content, but as someone that would like to help you ease the pressure. Thing is, I know how bad it can get. I don't want you to have to go through all of that just to survive high school. I want you to have some fun stories to tell. I want you to have some good memories to look back on. And I hope that maintaining your mental health, finding ways to build it and maintain it, if you follow these things that I've told you, that will definitely help and will make a difference and make an impact. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. If you are in school right now and you managed to watch this video, it's a long video, at least take some things out of it so that you have learned something. So you have something to back up while you're watching YouTube instead of studying. You're allowed to watch YouTube, don't worry. You're allowed to scroll on social media for a bit. It is okay. You are allowed to do those things. I will see you guys again next week with another video. I hope you have a splendid, amazing, beautiful day today, rest of your day, rest of your week. And yeah, remember, life is as beautiful as you choose to make it, and frankly, too short for you not to enjoy it. Especially not for you to waste all of it just suffering through high school. You can make it through high school without suffering. You can. You can. See you next time. Bye.